Hey guys, it's Nicole Eaton with the Rock Your Soul book and podcast. I am so excited to come to you live during a quarantine. I think that it's a really interesting time right now, but in some weird, messed up way, as long as, everyone is trying their best to stay safe, I think there can be some really great opportunities to thrive in this energy. So I really want to talk today about how to thrive during a quarantine. And I don't think I was thinking I should call it something else. So if somebody finds this podcast 2 years from now, it will feel relevant. But I think that even if we distance ourselves from the chaos that's going on now, this can be relevant for any time in your life where you're feeling overwhelmed or where you're feeling just things have gotten out of control or just feeling really far away from yourself. I think this information can be super relevant. So again, if you're listening to this forever from now and in the quarantine thing doesn't seem like it's connecting, don't worry. This information is still really relevant if you're just trying to find your way back to your center, finding your way back to your stability. Really quick for everybody who has been asking, I do have sessions available through the phone. I am home, and so I'll be putting out content, but I also have my soul therapy sessions and soul readings available. Just reach out to me at NicoleEaton.com or NicoleEaton.clarity@gmail.com. And I also have a bunch of trainings up on my website. So if you're just kind of like using this time to just barricade in and really get to know yourself and really grow within yourself, this is such a perfect time to set that intention. And like I said, I know there's a lot of chaos. I'm not diminishing the chaos that's in the world. I'm not diminishing the idea that there are some serious health concerns and, things are really challenging for a lot of people. I know my kids are home, so that always creates an extra layer of challenge with trying to do my work, but I am available if you need me. Just let me know, get a hold of me. But I am so excited to bring this information to you because I think a couple things I really want you guys to be thinking about. A lot of my clients are empathic, and what it means to be an empath is the ability to feel and process energy. I deeply believe we all do it, although some people are more sensitive. So if you think of yourself as somebody who really takes on the energy of another person or the energy of a room, this is super applicable to you. So if you're somebody who is around somebody who's really sad or really upset and you can't not, even if you were feeling great prior to seeing this person, you can't not take on that energy. Or if you're somebody who just feels altered by walking into a room that maybe is a little heavy or, everybody's off and then suddenly you feel that way, you're somebody who's empathic. Empathic people are kind of our superheroes of this world, I think. We have the ability to feel into other people. We have the ability to know things before they happen. And it doesn't mean you're like, have to have any crazy psychic superpowers. It's just you read it. Your body is super sensitive to the mirror neurons that are in your body. You might have an overproduction of them, which means you're just taking in everything. And mirror neurons basically go out into the world. They're neurons in our body that go out into the world, process the information, and come back and fire the same neural receptors that are in our brain as though that thing were happening to us. So if we think of ourselves as having a plethora of mirror neurons, and some people a little more than others, we can understand that the world and our surrounding people or surrounding areas being in such a high state of chaos and anxiety and fear can impact us. We call this collective energy, right? So our collective energy right now is at a baseline of a very fearful, anxious space, which means that if you are somebody who is sensitive, you are probably waking up a little more on edge than usual. Now, it's funny because I've talked to a lot of my friends who are empathic, who are intuitive, and everybody has this intuitive like calmness about them. But, if we really, really hone in on our soul, what does our soul say? And everyone is in that space of like, I'm really not that worried. I feel okay. I feel really calm. But again, the collective energy is panic. It's anxiety. It's honestly bizarre. I went to Publix the other day and I was like, ooh, this is weird. Everything is very restrictive. People are wearing gloves, masks, and whatever precautions you feel you need to take. But so you're starting off kind of at a disadvantage if you are energetically sensitive. This doesn't mean you have to stay at a disadvantage. It's just to recognize that if you wake up anxious or you're starting to really absorb some of that energy yourself, that you need to go do something with yourself. So we're going to talk about getting back to our basics, resetting our energy, and just getting in a better spot. But just understand that that is possible, that you may wake up or you may be going throughout your day, and as another event happens or as things maybe get worse in some ways, you might take that on. So just understand in regards to your energy that you have to kind of question if it's even yours. So if you catch yourself feeling really anxious or out of breath, or I notice for me, because I have a very physical way of processing energy, I can even kind of take on the symptoms. So I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, am I, it's like you get a little scratch in your throat and suddenly you're worried you might be the person having that disease. So just understand that you can kind of acknowledge those anxieties or those physical symptoms and just kind of ask, is this even mine? And what that'll do is it will lift it a little bit. But what I encourage you to do is stay outdoors if you can. If you're in an area that is warmer, keep your windows open, sage, Epsom salt bath, meditate. Just keeping your energy elevated is going to help you stay a little bit above the collective energy. So I just wanted to start with that because I think it's something that people aren't quite thinking about. So I know a lot of my intuitive friends who just don't even watch the news have just been so anxious. So I did want to talk about, just keeping your energy clear, keeping it high frequency, making sure you're keeping the news off. All the relevant information that pertains to you will reach you. I have no doubt in that. We're no shortage of news in this country. So just understand that there is a fear and an energy that comes with watching the news perpetually, that is just not healthy for anybody. It just creates a level of fear that's not relevant in your current environment and not helpful for you in your current environment. So protect your energy, and you don't have to go blocking everybody's energy. You just have to take care of yours. So just think about it in that way of, how do I want to take care of my energy today? But I think I wrote earlier, I feel like God is doing a hard reset on our lives. I feel like there is this time period where all of the extra stuff that we've been jamming our lives with is being stripped away. And I know that it's cleared up pollution in China. I know that it, cleared out some of the pollution in the canals in Venice. And I think that there is something subtly beautiful about the chaos. And I hate that this had to happen, but I really feel like the universe is just stripping us of all the stuff we've shoved our lives with that distracts from ourselves, that distracts from our purpose, that's polluting our hearts and minds, that's making us feel not good enough. And it's just asking us to slow the hell down. So this is a really great time period for you to say, okay, how do I want to use this quarantine time? Do I feel disconnected from myself? Do I feel disconnected from my family? Are there things I need to clean in my house that I haven't had a chance to because I've been too busy? Are there, things that, do I want to start cooking healthier meals or meals at home because otherwise I would be running, to practices every night of the week or games for my kids? So this is a really good time to reassess, like, what might help me center? What things are important to me? What kind of things do I want to dive into in this quarantine period? And I've been joking because I'm a little bit of an introvert, which means that I really enjoy alone time. So I'm like, everyone's all worried about the quarantine and just not having that social obligations. But I kind of love being at home, and I love having this extra time to just be with my family and do nothing sometimes and get work done and kind of produce creative projects that I've been too busy to do. So ask yourself that question of, what is it that you want to produce? What is it that you need to center? And how do you want to get yourself back to the basics? So let's talk quickly about just what are some steps? What are some things that you can do to bring your energy and yourself back to center and get you back? How are we going to thrive during this quarantine? If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. So the first thing I want you to think about is your basics. If we're talking about recentering, it's getting back to the basics, which means if you think about a plant, my daughter brought home this cabbage plant a while ago, and I put it in a different room so the cats wouldn't, get a hold of it until we could plant it. And I absolutely forgot about it, right? So I come in and this cabbage plant is just wilted and sad, and it's still, I can see it over there just flopping. I just haven't had the heart to throw it away. But it lost, I stopped paying attention to it and it stopped growing. And so if we think of ourselves as a little bit of a cabbage plant, we really need those basic things that as we get busier with our lives, as we get more involved with the things that we're doing, that we lose sight of. So one of my questions for you is, have you been sleeping well? Is there a sleep routine that you can put into place? Are there things you can start practicing and implementing before bed to get a deeper night's sleep? Is there some melatonin you can get and, have a better night's sleep? Are there restrictions you can put on your screen time so that you can have a better night's sleep? Play around with hypnosises on YouTube. I'm a huge fan of Jason Stevenson hypnosis. It's absolutely amazing. I always wake up feeling a million times better. So think about, am I getting enough sleep? And then what am I fueling my body with? Am I fueling my body with foods that are making me better and stronger and feel more vibrant and energized? Or am I fueling my body or not fueling my body with things that just weigh it down and make you feel sick or just uncomfortable or heavy? Are you drinking enough water? Just those basic things that if you were a plant, what would you need? And are you getting enough sunlight? As crappy as the weather is, sometimes it's still good to get outside. So giving yourself that fresh air, all of that benefit. And going into number 2, asking yourself and getting clear with some things. So maybe you've been so busy that you haven't had time to really sit back and think about, what do I want? What do I want for myself? How do I want to feel every day? What steps do I need to take to feel that way? How do I want to interact with my kids? How do I want to interact with my partner or spouse? Giving yourself permission to explore, do I even like the job that is, sending me home for this quarantine? Giving yourself permission to ask questions. What I've really loved watching is I've loved watching the community come together in different ways. I have loved watching people get really creative in their businesses in ways that I wouldn't have anticipated. So there are some really beautiful clarity and pieces of clarity and creativity coming out of this. So it's up to you to really explore within yourself. And that might be getting out a pen and paper and asking yourself those questions of, what is it that I need? What is important to me? Where my values lie? Number 3 is to take this time to clear things out. I know I have a full list of things that I want to go through, including my closet and my drawers, but just getting rid of the things that do not need right now, things that you've just had sitting around that aren't important for you. But it's a really good idea to go through and clear things out, to get rid of things that just maybe aren't serving you anymore. So it's kind of along with that ideas of what is it that you even really want or need? Who do you want to become? What do you want your space to look like? And I recommend saging. Saging is really good for germs. Also, it's been tested to be pretty effective in killing germs. So it doesn't hurt to also do that. So saging, clearing out your space, clearing out, cleaning things you haven't touched in a while, going through drawers, dressers, that kind of thing. But giving yourself permission to just get rid of stuff, donate, see where you can volunteer and help and spend your time. I was really looking into earlier of how can I be most helpful during this time for other people in ways that maybe I have time or energy or resources that others may not at this time. So get into your community as much as you are with the clearing out and using this process to kind of tag team both. Number 4. Explore and play. This is such a good time to try new things, to try new foods, to get creative in your routine, to play around with creativity or drawing or painting or music, listening to new music, finding new people on YouTube, taking some classes online. All of this is a great time to start playing. And I think the cool thing is you don't have to commit to anything crazy, but you can just dabble in a little bit of everything. So use this time to play. I always think of when we're inspired and in a creative mode, we're in spirit. So inspired in spirit. So that really means we're receiving and connecting our alignment to God, to the universe, and we're more in connection with ourselves, with our source energy. And this helps us function at our higher self. So give yourself permission to not just sit in your room and work, 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 but to play a little, to have fun, to draw with sidewalk chalk, to go, probably going to work from the hot tub most of the rest of the day. Just give yourself a permission to do things a little differently. And last but not least, this is a really good time to set new goals. What things did you maybe get in on the new year that now you're kind of getting away from? What kind of things have you been doing that maybe aren't serving you anymore? This is a really good time to assess like your day-to-day habits of what is it that my habits are creating within my life? What kind of new habits do I want to establish? I know I told my kids today is the last day we will be sitting around and doing nothing. Tomorrow we're going to have kind of a little bit more of a structure. So maybe you need more flow, maybe you need more structure depending on your personality. So be thinking about what would be fun for you to try, what would be fun for you to do. Maybe this is the time you write your book. Maybe this is the time you start your podcast. Maybe this is the time you get that project up off the ground. But there's no better time than now without all of the distractions, without all of the extra things that you're going to need to do to just dive into who you were meant to be. And last but not least, I really do want to talk about just clearing out your energy. I know I touched on that at the beginning, but you can sage, you can use Palo Santo, you can use sage essential oil in a spray, in a glass bottle spray. You can also do Epsom salt baths for 20 minutes at a time. Consuming high vibrational content will help battle that. Thinking about ways you can spread love and joy. I put out a little challenge in my Facebook group, which is the Rock Your Soul Facebook group on Facebook. But I put out a challenge to send 3 to 5 people gratitude or thank you messages or fond favorite memory of them or just something sweet to start their day. But just putting good vibes out into the universe. You have full control. There may not be a lot of things in the world we can control right now, but you are one of them. You are the piece you can control. You are entirely up to you. So make the most of this time that you have, that you've been in some odd, weird way gifted with. And if you start to look at it as a gift, it will become a gift. If you start to look at it as I'm so angry and I'm so, I feel like the world is cursed and we're all falling apart, it will become that for you. So you get to choose how you want to mentally approach this time period. You get to choose if you're going to thrive through this quarantine or not. You get to choose how you want to personally come back to yourself, how you want to become your best self. And like I said, the universe is kind of giving you a little extra time to do so. So I'm wishing you all the best health wishes. I'm wishing you all, sending you all good vibes. If you want to book a session with me or check out my trainings, it's NicoleEaton.com. It's NicoleEaton.com. You can follow me on Instagram at NicoleEaton.xo or join my Facebook group, Rock Your Soul, on Facebook. I love you guys. Stay healthy. Stay good. Bye.